used to live my life alone. I was living it just for me. I never knew this life I live will judge my eternity. And one day I just started.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you and welcome to A Moment with me, Abdul Aziz. A Moment is a special Islamic series designed to capture the lives of Muslim personalities where they share their experiences about one very important moment in their lives, what has been the lessons they learned from this moment, and how they can use those moments to motivate you watching this. In today's episode of The Moment, I have with me one of Sierra Leone's most celebrated and most prominent Islamic personality, who is no less an individual, but Abdul Rahman Jalloh. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to The Moment.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here.
Alhamdulillah.
First, tell us, who is Abdul Rahman Jalloh?
Alhamdulillah, Abdul Rahman Jalloh is, I can say, Muslim, and Alhamdulillah, Abdul Rahman Jalloh is married, and he has been blessed with 3 children. One of them is no more, and he has a degree in mass communications and also a diploma in peace and conflict studies. He's currently pursuing an Islamic course under the Islamic Online University, and he's working for Search for Common Ground Talking Drum Studio as a media producer. He's also the founder of one of Sierra Leone's Islamic organization, the Charity Foundation. I think I'll stop here for now, inshallah. He's also a munshid as well, someone who sings Islamic songs.
Okay, it's like you have such a huge responsibility.
No.
Okay, so share with A Moment is designed for Muslim personalities to share their experiences. From what you've mentioned, you know, you must have gone through so many moments in your lives, and this program is specially designed for that, wherein we capture the lives of Muslim personalities, what has been those moments that they consider a moment of their lives. So what are some of those moments in your life as an Islamic personality?
First of all, I'd like to say thanks for having me. The very first moment I would like to share, it's a sad one, and it's one of the greatest moments in my life because it's something I experienced for the very first time, and I learned so many lessons from it. You know, it was way back in 2013, around August, and I was at the college taking my final exams to proceed to the next year, inshallah. When I was with colleagues, with friends, and that night there was a colleague among us who was sick. So I was telling the person, I said, in our family, you know, people hardly get sick. You know, we have that kind of gene. You know, I'm not used to, you know, there are some families maybe every week you see them at the hospital, every month you see them there. But then I come from a family whereby I can't remember someone being admitted, you know, in the hospital. So I'm not even used to paying visit to the hospital. I'm not used to caring or catering for someone who is sick. So then just after I was telling them that, I received a call from my wife. And what was the call about?
Immediately after you are telling them?
Just as I was explaining to them, telling them that we have a very strong gene, you know, we hardly get sick. And then I received a call from my wife. And no sooner I answered the call, she said to me that our child is very, very sick. And that was around 10 p.m. at night, you know, and I was really shocked when she said that. I said, well, no problem. First thing in the morning, please ensure he's taken to the hospital for treatment. Of course, I was really, really worried. And then the night passed. In the morning, just after Subah, I called her after the Fajr prayer and asked her, so how is the child doing? She said, well, he hasn't got better. I said, so please make sure as soon as the place gets clearer, take him to the hospital. You know, she said, okay. And I was just about starting to study around 7 a.m. Then I received a call from her. No sooner I saw the call coming in, I had a strange feeling, definitely. And when I answered the call, you know, she told me that, Jay, we've lost our child. I mean, that was the very first time I had such an experience. You know, since I was growing up, I've never lost someone who is closer to me. I've never lost my dad, my mom, they're all alive. I've never lost a brother, a sister. So I don't know the pain, I don't know how it feels to lose someone who is very, very closer to you. So that was the very first time I experienced that, you know. It was very, very shocking, to me. But yet still I was so strong. A friend of mine, Abdul Razak, you know, we came down, we went home together. He was there to encourage me.
Talking about the moment you lost your son, and you earlier mentioned that you were in exams, you were studying. Was it for the next day on an exam? Or?
No, I was having an exam on that day.
On the very day you lost your son?
The very day. On the very day. So I had to leave Fabi College, go down to Kalba Town, and the only time I shed tears when I saw my son lying down, dead, and I couldn't hold my tears. And I was there. They washed him, they shrouded him, and I was there. We took him together to the cemetery, and we laid him to rest in the grave. And then I came back to the college, I went back to the college, and I couldn't study anymore. And the exam was there. The HOD told me, he said, Abdul Rahman, we know you've just lost your son. We can reschedule the exam date for you because maybe you're not in your right frame of mind right now. But I told him, I said, I think I'll be able to take the exams. So
what gave you that motivation to take the exams, having been given the privilege to reschedule the exam?
Well, as Muslims, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, that, everything comes from Allah and to Him we return. So even though I lost my child on that day, but I was having the strong faith that, he wasn't meant to stay. He was just to come by, to let me experience the how to take care of a child. So we spent 10 months together, 10 months and 10 days, and then Allah took him away. So I heard that, he has gone. Sitting back will not bring him anymore. Deciding not to take my exam will still not bring him alive. So let me just go and take this exam. So I went there, I took the exam, but it was not easy, Just after an hour into the exam, all the memories of my child started coming, and I couldn't hold my tears. I was writing my exams, and tears were just falling down. And so, alhamdulillah, I know you might want to ask what was the result of that paper. Alhamdulillah, it was an A, and for all of the semesters I've been taking that paper, I normally get B plus, B plus. But on that particular, I know of course the lecturer did not compromise because he was not even there. He never knew that I even lost my child or whatsoever at that particular time. So I know there was no compromise in marking my script. But then alhamdulillah, I had an A. So I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that.
From that experience, what are some of the lessons you learned?
Well, the very first thing I learned from that, losing someone is something which is very, very painful, especially someone who is very, very close to your heart. But then, you have to be strong because especially as a man, you have to, let the other family members be strong, especially for my wife. She was really, really down at that moment. So I was the one who was supposed to be there to ensure that I gave her all the courage that she needed. So therefore, I strongly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, will replace it. But one of the things that made me, to really have courage on that day, people were coming, to sympathize with me. And then there was one particular man who told me, he said, Abdul Rahman, you have to take heart. I gave birth to 3 children and all of them just died. He said, so you have just lost one. And that was the most courageous, condolence I had at that particular moment.
He gave you something, which is much more greater than your loss.
Than the trouble I had. So, and this is what Islam teaches us. So what Islam teaches us that in terms of, religion, when it comes towards, piety, worshiping Allah, you always have to look onto those who are above you. You have to look at those who are above you in terms of worship, those who are above you in terms of reading the Quran, those who are above you in terms of praying. But then when it comes to matters of this dunya, children, if you are having one child, no need to complain. Look at those whom Allah has never blessed with children. There are people who get married and they have spent 10 years. Allah has not blessed them with children. So if Allah has blessed you with a child and He takes him back, so don't look at those that are having 10, 15. No, look at those who have never experienced, having a child. So that was what I used to encourage myself. So the lesson out there for everyone is that if you are faced with difficulty, first of all, you have to have a strong belief that, this situation that I'm in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible. He's aware. And so because He's aware, I leave my affairs to him to take control of that. And then secondly, you have to know that, I mean, if what situation that I am today, normally people say, if you do not have a shoe to wear, think of those who do not have a foot or feet to put in those shoes. So who is much better? Maybe one day you have shoes, but that person that does not have a foot or feet, what will happen?
Not assured of having
never. You'll never need.
I mean, you won't have them, but you can. So one lesson we can also derive from this, taking it to the academic side of it. You mentioned you were on exams and all. So it tells you that it is not how much you study. It is what you really, the effort you make in presenting your answers and
definitely,
and what your answer is.
Definitely, and I would say it is not about fattening the pig on the market day. So has it been that I've not been studying? I will have just relied on reading my books that night and in the morning to go and study. I will not have faced that exam. So it means as student, definitely. So as student, anything can come up at any time. So in terms of you, whilst you're pursuing your education, don't wait upon the final day when exam comes and that's the time you take your book, that's the time you want to study. What if something comes up that will just destroy your moment, that will just make you sad? What will you do? You'll not be able to study. And so many students have gone through that. They've not studied and then they receive sad news. Because of that, they couldn't continue studying, so they ended up having wrong grades. So if you study ahead, it helps you that no matter what difficulty comes on, you'll be able to fight that with courage and move on from that, inshallah.
Thank you very much for watching that very wonderful video. I hope you've learned a lot from it and you've also been motivated. Do join us on our social media platforms. Join us on Facebook, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube, and also contact the number on your screen if you want to get more videos on WhatsApp. Thank you very much.